Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my OG, got niggas out there, no cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my OG, got niggas out there, no cup, though. Cocaine in my nose,
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL. It's Wednesday night. It's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Bonnar, but Boromant's got the inside.
Usually a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Right, good evening everyone and welcome back to PSGL. We're here for the final social race, pre-season 34 here, Lobby 1, 7 PM for the Dutch Grand Prix. Joining me alongside is Omi, who was with me, I believe, the week before last. Hello Omi, welcome in.
Hello. Yes, I was really looking forward to this race and looking forward to commentating with you again. So hopefully we are going to get a lot of great action. PCF1, there was a lot of action in that, so I'm expecting similar stuff here in this race. And we do have a lot of competitive drivers in this, so it's really going to be very exciting as well.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for the lobby. We've got the likes of Duncan Hoffland, Harvey Cohen, Xander Van Dyken, Jona Martins, Max Wiesel. We've got a really strong lineup here, which I think, these guys will be participating in F2, F3 next season, I presume. So yeah, it'll be great to see what they can do all in this lobby together. A very stats lobby. I think so far, out of the 3 social races I've done, this might be the most competitive lobby we've had. Unfortunately, we're in the F1 World Cars again, which is a shame, but a patch should hopefully be coming soon. EA have have acknowledged the fact that there's an issue, so they're going to hopefully try and fix it. So within a few weeks, we should be back underway with the normal cars. But for now, back with the multiplayer online cars. So if you do see people running the same liveries, that's why. Some people have got their own. Some people just haven't been bothered to make one, which I can't blame them, because it does take a lot of time to try and make a perfect livery in the game. And we've got 18 out of 20 in the lobby, so we will be getting underway very, very shortly. And to add on from what George said last night, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Delano Van der Hoff, who lost his life at Spa, unfortunately, after an accident last Sunday. And obviously, this would have been his home track, so yeah, just sort of pass on that message to everyone. And Omi, you got anything to add on to that?
Yep, it was really, really unfortunate in those wet conditions. So yeah, very, very unfortunate it was, and I think we are racing for him. We absolutely are racing for him today, but it was very unfortunate, really sad in the motorsport world. And today, yeah, we will be racing for him around this circuit, which obviously is his home race.
It is, and it's a great circuit. Probably one of my favourites. It's a very old style circuit, a bit like Hungary, which is why I love it. And we're about to get underway very, very shortly. If you don't know how the qualifying and the race works, here we have a short qualifying session, which is 18 minutes, along with a 50% race. And I will try and turn Omi up if he's a bit quiet. We've had to sort something out last minute with the microphone, so hopefully we can sort that out live. And just looking in the chat, hello, Gisso, William, David, Joey, welcoming everyone to the stream. We're going to get underway shortly. We're going to actually go to the main screen so you can see the lobby we've got. So we've got lots of drivers in. We've got Harvey, Bogdan, Joost, Gianpietro, Duncan, Xander, Sergio, Jonas, Sven, Louis, Max, Drake, Wilson, Ash, Adam, Harlem, Jan, Primoj, Camille, and Skidder. So yeah, a really strong lobby. I know from what I saw on the tweet earlier on, Kamasasha was, I think, one of the top 5 to get one of the top 5 in the PSGL sign-ups for season 34. I think there might be one other person in here as well, but I can't remember exactly who that was. Why do they not racing proper cars? Because of the tyre wear glitch, which gives different cars, well, some an advantage, some a disadvantage. So we use the F1 World Car, so it's fair. And when the patch comes out, which should be soon, then we'll obviously be back to the normal cars. But for now, it's just so we can actually keep ourselves racing. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be fair, to race with unfair conditions. Ash Best has drove a few times. I think in PSGL, PS, PS, and moved on to PC. I think I've seen him once or twice on PC, but not that often. And hopefully, we can get in shortly. Is there anyone, Omi, you're looking at who you think could be a challenger in this race for the win or the podium?
And as we've said, it's really going to be competitive. So it really could be anyone. Duncan, they're all going to be in there. So it's really, really going to be interesting. I'm just trying to rush to get in currently. I'm just looking in because Steam was having a glitch, but looks like I am in. So I just need to press spectate and we are all ready.
Yes, and before we get in, we're going to have a look at the track. As you can see there, the Zandvoort circuit in the Netherlands. 14 corners, 4.2 kilometres, 2.6 miles long. So a pretty short track, only about 1 minute and 10 seconds around this whole track. And it's a very nice one. Lots of corners to the left, lots of corners to the right. And of course, lots of elevation change as well around the track. And yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. We've got 2 DRS zones, one down towards turn 1, the other one, which heads down towards turns 11 and 12 at the chicane. And yeah, well, we're going to get in. So we're going to move back to the normal screen. But before we do that, we're going to have a little word from our sponsor at GT Omega. And we are back, everyone, just loading into the session. And remember, if you are buying any products on GT Omega and you want to get yourself a cheeky little 5% discount code, use code PSGL in the chat in order to get yourself a nice little discount. Helps us, helps them, and it helps you, of course. So all around, it's a win-win situation for everyone. But we are in now, and we're heading ourselves into the session, and we can see all 20 drivers in the lobby. Normally, with a social race, we tend to see quite a few people DNF halfway through the race if they're not happy with the race. So hopefully, it's a bit closer today. We don't have people spinning out, and we don't have people having incidents, so we do get more people finishing the race. But obviously, the race isn't yet. This is just the qualifying session, which is 18 minutes long. And ignore the Q1 at the top. It isn't Q1. There's just one qualifying session. It's just a bit of a visual bug with the game. And their first on track is Bogdan Moldovan. Obviously, Bogdan's raced a lot in PSGL. He's raced in every season I commentated on through F4, F3, and F2. So he's definitely one I'll be keeping my eye on. I'm not sure if he'd be fighting for that top position, but I think he'll definitely be in the mix of the points. Definitely a very quick midfield drive. So we'll see what he's able to do today. Is there anyone in here that you commentated on before that you're going to be rooting for in this race?
I did Max Risa last time. I think I did Harlan Marquez, Sergio Sabrino, and other than that, I think I did Yona Martins last time. But yeah, I don't think I've done anyone else that comes to mind at least, because this is only my third actually PC commentary. So I'm starting to commentate over some of these guys, but I haven't commentated over most of them.
Yeah, well, they're a great bunch either way. There's some drivers that I don't commentate over often like Xander. I didn't see much at all in the last game, unfortunately. So I didn't commentate him at all. Louis, I didn't commentate on him much last game, but this game I've seen a lot more of him. And just looking through, there's still many drivers that I've commentated on a lot before, like Camille, Yona. I've done a lot of him on F3 and F2. Drake Dempsey, yet again another quick driver. Ian Halliday, also known as Peso, another very quick driver. And also making an appearance for, well, Drake and Jan is TES, Thomas Engstein Racing, one of the newer community teams entering in towards the esports side of F1. And we'll be able to see what they can do. They've been doing a few team races here and there. So it's nice to see another team competitively entering F1. And we'll be able to see how it develops these drivers such as Drake, Jan, and a couple others who have recently joined. But on a lap, first of all, is Xander Van Dyke, and he's now heading up in towards the end of this first sector, 23.846 there. So he's doing a great job so far as he heads through in towards this middle sector, down in towards turn 9 and 10. Was a break at the 50-metre board, keep the car in nice at the inside, and just want to use every bit of track you can around here. You need to make sure you can maximise every single bit of that track, but obviously you don't want to go a little bit out, because as soon as you do that, your lap is going to be voided. As you come through now, he's gone purple in the middle set, so that's quicker than Bogdan's first two sectors. Now he heads out of turn 12, and he heads in towards Harry Lyndike, the final corner on this circuit. We'll be able to see what time Xander Van Dyken can do as he comes out of that final corner.
Yep, here we go then. Let's see what he can do as he comes over the line. And it's 1 minute 8.023 to start ourselves off with. So it's important to get laps in, because this is a circuit where we could be seeing drivers later on having mistakes, because it is really a challenging circuit. This is Max Wiesel goes into P1 now. But yeah, this is really a hard circuit for all of the drivers. So we are going to be seeing the mistakes. So it's important to get good laps in straight away. So even if you do make mistakes later on, you've already got a solid lap which can get you at least the top 10. So all of the laps just coming in. But we are usually going to see a few drivers who struggle on their first runs. And then it puts them under more pressure in their final runs. So it's going to be interesting to see who can actually get a lap down straight away. But currently looks like most of the field getting some good laps down straight away.
Yep, the top three all in the 107s, 107.7 for Max Wiesel, and then Jonas Martin's just a little bit behind, and Skither there pops himself into the top 10. So many of the times are seen in that the high 107s and the low 108. So we can see there Xander down to Skither. That's for about 6 positions. They're all within 0.2 of a second of each other. And I'll try and turn Omi's microphone up, but there's not much I can do. We've had to sort something out last minute, hence why. But yeah, keep me updated on the sound. I'll try and increase it and decrease it where possible. So bear with me for a quick moment, as we should be back up and running. And if Omi's a bit later, hopefully he is, we should start to improve as we come through now. And I think nearly every lap has been set, apart from Louis Welch. He's on a 126. So I believe he's on another lap. He's just gone 16 thousandths quicker than his first sector. He's now heading through in towards turns 9 and 10 before he hits that DRS zone down towards turn 11. We'll see if he's on a lap. I'm not quite sure though. We'll go on board as he heads down, and I think he might be. He comes down towards turns 11 and 12. He's 13 seconds quicker, so yes, he's on a lap now. He obviously did let off down that straight on the previous run. As he heads his way now down in towards turns 13 and 14, the final corners on the circuit. Harry Lyndike, as it is also known as now. Lou Welch coming out of the final corner. What will he do as he comes up towards the line? Can he put himself in the top 10? He goes into 11th, so just outside that top 10 there by about 50 thousandths of a second. Puts himself into P11, and so far the top 10. Max Wiesel, Jonas Martin, Sergio Sobrino, Xander Van Dyke, and Harvey Cohen, Joost Noordijk, Sven Schumacher, Duncan Hoffman, Primoz Klavjic, and Skidder. So a very competitive top 10. But so far, the top 3 all separating each other by a 10th. And so far, they are separating themselves by 0.3 of a second. So the top 3 doing a great job at the start of this session. And Xander Van Dyken is already out on track for another outlap. So he'll be wanting to get himself as many runs in as possible. Currently sitting P4, so he's doing a really great job at the start of this session.
Yeah, all of these drivers just looking to improve in this session. But yeah, and especially if you are in the midfield pack currently, in the mid pack, all of the times very close. A lot of drivers in the 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 5 tenths, so very close. So it's going to be so you're gonna have to find every margin you can around this racetrack, and it could get you a few positions higher. So it's really, really tight, which is making it interesting. But we're getting quite a few runs because the drivers just come in and go straight back out. So it's really going to be an interesting session as all of these drivers try to improve their lap time. Xander Van Dyken already, as you said earlier on his outlap very quickly straight away after coming in the pits after his last push. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do in this one. But yeah, all of these drivers just trying to find as many runs as they can to try and improve their time.
Yeah, I'm on board with Camel Sasha at the moment, coming through towards turns 6 and 7. He's currently on a 23.764 purple in that first sector. Hasn't got a first running yet, so he needs to make sure this run is perfect. He can't go outside the track limit, which you need to get yourself a decent banker at the start of the session. He comes in towards the end of this second sector at turns 9 and 10. Oh, has a big slide coming through there. Just took a bit too much curb and it just sent the car round, but he managed to catch it. It will lose him a lot of time, but it should still be decent enough to set himself a nice banker lap. Now, as he comes down in towards turns 11 and 12, the chicane is a 47.4 for the first and second sector split. Now he comes out of there, heading down in towards Harry Lyondike at turns 13 and 14. We'll see what Camel can do now as he comes through. Very quick drivers should see him easily in that top 10 now as he heads out of turn 14 up to the line. What will it be for Camel? It'll be the top 8. It'll be a 108.1. But he's got lots of time to gain because of that incident and the issue he had down at turn 9. So, Camel, we've got to expect to see a lot more from him as the session unfolds. Duncan Hoffland also on an improvement through turn 7 of 37 thousandths improvement through that first sector. Now, as he heads down in towards turns 8 and then shortly down into the braking zone at turn 9 before getting back onto the throttle nice and early. Into turn 10, brake just after the 50-metre board, coast the car in. And you can see that Duncan not going for many of the sharp apexes, so getting a little bit of a wider line for him now as he heads down in towards the chicane. It's a 1/10 improvement for Duncan. So currently looking to put himself into that top 5, depending what he can do in the rest of this session. Xander Van Dyken, goes into second. Joost Noordijk into the top 4 now. We'll see what can Duncan Hoffland do as he's now coming up towards the line. Will it be a top 5 for Duncan as he heads to the line? It is a top 5, a 107.977.
Yep, Duncan Hoffland finding time, but Xander Van Dyken was pushing on just before him. He was able to find a good lap in. Max Wiesel invalidated, so he is coming into the pit lane. So it's close. It's even closer now with Xander Van Dyken's effort there. Sergio Sabrina marginally down, so you can gain it through the second sector back, but just in the first sector, marginally down. So he's going to have to do some extra work coming through the second sector now, and he's just making his way through turn number 10, about to go through towards the chicane of 11 and 12. He's going to just get on the brakes, and you can see he's finding time. So he's been able to gain some more time in the sequence of corners through the second sector. Let's see what he can do now through the bank corner, about to go through the final 3 corners. DRS will go open. Let's see what he can do as he comes across the line. So he is finding some time, but can he keep it up through the last sector? Over the line, goes to 4th.
Yeah, very nice lap time there from Sergio, just popping himself into the 107.8. So we had some more improvements as well. Drake Dempsey up to 7th, Skidder up to 9th as well. So they're getting their times nice and quick. And Drake there, 107.999. So just inside the 107s for him. Ogiano also improved on his time. He's now into the top 10 with a 108.077. I believe Louis Welch, he's also, no, he's not. He's let off on his lap. Jan Halliday's not on a lap. And I don't know if Adam Lundqvist is either. He's heading now down through turn 3. And I think he might be. We'll go on board with him quickly to see if he is on a lap. He's currently down in 18th with a 108.3. So he's got lots of time to gain through the next part of the session. He's nearly 2/10 up in that first sector. So Adam is on a lap time now. He heads through in towards turn 7 before hitting through turn 8 before hitting turn 9. Very nice there for Adam through there. Then back on the power nice and early through towards turn 10. You can see there just eating a little bit of the apex on the inside. Back on the power nice and early with the DRS now as he heads down in towards turns 11 and 12 at the chicane. And he's 2.2 tenths up, so he's got to make sure he keeps it clean in the final sector. He's only got a couple corners to go, 2 corners left for Adam. A 2 tenths improvement will put him into that top 10 marginally, depending what he can do in this final sector. Now, as he comes through Harry Lyondike up towards the line, what will it be for Adam Lundqvist? Will it be a top 10? It will be 11th, so just outside again of that top 10 with a 108.104. Just 4 thousandths quicker than Sven Schumacher, who is now beginning a lap. He's heading through turn 1.
Yeah, it's all those just fine margins which you need to find, which could gain you a few positions. Jona Martin's currently under 1/10 of max resell and is finding even more time through the first sector to their penultimate runs currently, because after this they'll pit, and I would say they would have about one more run remaining, which will be their final effort. So it's good that if they can set a good second run, just in case if they mess up the last run. But yeah, Jona Martin's now losing it through the second sector, so it's really important to find some time throughout the lap. But he's leaving himself with all to do in the last sector. Now as he now goes foot to the floor, let's see what he can do as he comes over the line. Can he go on to provisional pole? It'll be for the moment. He goes onto the front row, but he was able to find some time, but not able to beat Max Wiesel. I think there was a car actually round, was there? Couldn't really see in the background. But yeah, Max Wiesel immediately now on an effort to try and improve his lap time to go further ahead. But you have Xander Van Dyken. Let's see what he can do. He's also pushing on, so it's now going to be all down to who can find time. Max Wiesel still improving. We're about to see what he is able to do through the second sector, and he is still finding time. So exactly what he wants. He just needs to keep improving his time, so no one else can get close to him. So let's see. He's going to make his way now through the final few corners here. He just wants to set a better time. So let's see. Is he going to be able to find it? He is up through the second sector, so he needs to keep it going through the last sector as he comes over the line, and he does improve his time.
Yeah, puts himself onto, well, yet again onto provisional pole, this time with the 107.678. Xander Van Dyken was up in the middle sector. We'll see what he can do now as he heads through in towards turn 13 before hitting turn 14. Harry Lyndike, the final corner. We'll see, can he get himself into that top two, or at least back on? Oh no, he goes into the pits. So no improvement there for Xander Van Dyken. And Jas Nordyke, he's currently sitting in fourth, the 107.896. And that's been also an improvement from Primoz Mklavčić, popping himself up into eighth. And Sven Schumacher was on a lap, but he did mess up going through turn 9. He hit that curb on the outside and it just spun the car around. That's one place you do not want to hit at all. You go into that curb, you can't save the car because you can't brake, the car locks up and you spin round, and that's unfortunate for Sven, as he was up on his time. He was looking to put himself possibly into that top 10, so it's a big shame for him, but obviously he has got time to go again, and I think now pretty much every lap time for that second part of qualifying is done. We'll see. Is Ash Best on a time? I think he's not. He's going to be going back into the pits. Wilson Hall as well. I think he might be heading back into the pits. We'll see. Unless he's going for a lap. No, Wilson Hall is going for a lap now. So currently he's sitting 20th with a 108.261. So he's about 7-8 tenths off pole position time. So he needs to improve a lot now on this lap. He's currently on a 108.2. As he heads through towards turns 2 before hitting the braking zone at turn 3. Got to be very keen to sit on the inside there. Go for a bit of a different line through there, but he gets back onto pole nice and early. He's now heads up towards turns 6 and 7. Just want to try and throw the car in through here. Just shift down to 6th. Keep yourself to that inside line. Just turn in and try not to go wide. Wilson there, taking a perfect line. Then he comes into turn 8 before hopping the curb. Then into turn 9. Obviously not wanting to ride that curb at all as your car will spin. He heads out of turn 9 there, right on the curb as he comes out of there. Into turn 10. Keeping to the inside now. On the exit here, he gets onto the power nice and early. Gets the DRS as he heads down in towards turn 11 and 12. Let's see what he is up in. He's only up by a 10th. So this isn't that much of an improvement, really, for Wilson. He only put himself up into that top 16, just ahead of the Harlan Marquis, unless he can make something magical in these last 2 corners. Through turn 13, then into turn 14. We'll see. What can Wilson Hall do? Can he get himself ahead of Harlan Marquis? Put himself into that top 15, top 10? It will be P11 there for Wilson Hall. So lots of time, over a 10th gained in just those 2 corners at the final set. So he's obviously must have made a mistake there on the last lap, because he's already up into P11, a 108.040. And the times are all crumbling down. Skidder now getting ready to begin a lap. He's heading down towards turn 1 currently, sitting in P13 with a 108.0. Obviously, that's about 4.5 tenths off of pole time. Skidder, normally you'd expect, from what I've seen of him, you expect to see him in that top 5, top 3. So I'm expecting to see a lot more now in the final part of this session for Skidder.
Yeah, there was quite a few drivers who just weren't able to get it together through the first, second, or third sector, whichever one it was. So they have a lot of work to do in these final runs, especially as we were watching Wilson Hall. It just looked like couldn't get the first and second sector together, but had a lot of space, had a lot of pace, I should say, through the last sectors. Harlan Marquis has got a 5-place good penalty for illegal blocking, so that's really unfortunate for him. We do see that quite a bit, unfortunately, in qualifying for a few drivers sometimes. So really unfortunate. But yeah, they're all on their out laps now. So they're all going to be pushing on and getting ready now for their final runs. And this will be the final runs that will decide the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix with no more time after this lap remaining. So this is going to be it for all of them.
Yep, and now that is Ash Best also with a 5-place grid penalty as well. That's not going to help him. He's currently down in 20th, but still not ideal. And Wilson Hall's retired. Skither up to the line. He goes into the top 8 with a 107.9 at 7 now. We come down into the crunch time of qualifying. This is where you need to get your final laps in, because after this, there's no more time to set a lap. Harvey Cohen, he's now heading through his first sector, coming through in towards turns 5 and 6. We'll see what he can do at the end of his first sector. Is it improvement? No, it's not. He's down by 23 thousandths. It's not much of a downfall, so he has got time to gain it back in this second and third sector as he comes through turn 8. Now in towards turn 9. We'll see what he can do through here. Just eating that curb on the inside. Harvey into turn 9, then coming into turn 10. Yet again, you can see Harvey's able to take a bit more curb than some of the others. This can all be due to setup now. As Harvey comes down in towards the chicane turns 11 and 12, there's a few cars ahead, so he's got to be careful he doesn't get caught up in a bit of traffic.
Yeah, Xander Van Dyken, he was one driver who lost a lot of time. He needed to find more time to challenge for pole, but right with that moment, he's not going to improve due to the blocking right at the final corner. It's so unfortunate, and you usually see it through the third sector because they're all usually parked up about to begin their lap. But here we go. This is now crunch time. They're all got to be finding some time. Drake Dempsey currently also finding some time by over half a tenth. But yeah, this is going to be now really exciting as they all push now, so it doesn't look like it'll be Xander Van Dyken. Jonah Martins is down, so he needs to find more time. So doesn't look like anyone can challenge Max to resell at this current stage in qualifying.
No, I'm watching Max now. He's coming down in towards the chicane. We'll see what he can do. He's up by 64,000. So Max is looking to possibly put himself on for a 107.5. Now that would stretch his lead to over 2 tenths as Jonah Martin does pit. So he's not going to be challenging for pole. Kamil Stachura up into the top 5 now. Can Max Wiesel stretch his qualifying lead as he comes up towards the line? What will it be for Max Wiesel? It will be an improvement, but only by 50 thousandths of a second. But he does secure that pole position even more now. It's going to take a big effort for anyone to try and take this away from Max. That's someone out in the final corner, and that's Joost Noordijk going towards the line. What does he do? He doesn't improve. He got any more improvements coming through? Duncan Hoffland now coming out of turn 14. We'll see what he can do as he heads up towards the line. Will it be an improvement for him? No, it won't. He's down by 4,000. Sven Schumacher has let off. Louis Welch, he's 11 seconds down. So that is qualifying done and dusted. But I've only just realised Xander and Harvey have got the exact same time, a 107.792.
Yeah, and also Just Noordijk, it's so unfortunate for him because he had a mega second sector as well. I believe it was the fastest we've seen. But he needed a mega last sector, but he made a mistake right at the last sector there. So really unfortunate for Jos Noordijk there. So he'll start 7th, but he has a bit of work to do to improve some places. But yeah, what a qualifying. But it looks like Max Wiesel has been in control of that one. Other drivers have tried to get close, but they couldn't get the laps together in the final run. So yeah, it will be Max Wiesel on pole for this race.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm that surprised by Max being on pole because he's a really quick qualifier. Really he's really quick in the race pace as well. And with most drivers, you either see him really quick in qualifying and then slow in the race, and you either see them being really slow in qualifying and really quick in the race. But Max is quick at both, so he's a really strong driver. And then you can see there on the final classification, he takes pole by 1.4 tenths of a second with a 107.625. Then we have Jonah Martin starting on the front row ahead of Xander Van Dyken and Harvey Cohen on the second row with the exact same time. Then we have Kamil Stachura, Primož Muklavčič, Joost Noordijk, Sergio Sobrino, Duncan Hoffland and Drake Dempsey rounding out the top 10. Then we have Sven Schumacher, Gianpietro Oggiano, Jan Halliday, Skither, Louis Welch, Wilson Hall, Bogdan Moldovan, Adam Lundqvist, Harlan Marquis and finally Ash Best rounding out the top 20. And that is 6 tenths between the whole field, and it's about 3 tenths between 1st and 15th. So this is going to be a really, I think, really close race with all the drivers. I think at this point, any of them could come out with that. Well, I'll say at the moment it's likely Max will come out with a win, but I think any of them could come out with a podium or a top 5.
Yeah, and if there is drama, they could be fighting for the win, but it is gonna be really interesting to see what is gonna happen. Max Wiesel had a brilliant scrap with Floris Wires last time out in Bahrain. Obviously, Floris Wires in the 8 p.m. lobby, not with us here in the 7 p.m. one this time. So yeah, who can bring the fight? So it's gonna be interesting, but Max Wiesel definitely with a bit of the advantage in this one. So can anyone bring the fight? Gonna be exciting to see. We could be in for a scrap. And first of all the drivers behind us need to basically stay inside the 1 second. So we will not also be having a formation lap. So we will be getting straight into the action as well.
Yep, and Ryan Jacobs in the chat there. He says to keep a close eye on Xander and Harvey. So we know who he's going to be looking out for in this race. But anyone else in the chat, let us know. Who do you think could take that challenge to Max Wiesel? Can Max Wiesel win? Do you think someone else has a chance of taking that win? I'm going to go for Max. I think it's the most sensible. I think it's the most sensible decision, and I want to make sure I don't look stupid at the end by saying someone else. Elmi, who are you going to go for? When you're going to say the same as me, you're going to go someone different.
Well, I'll go the same as you. I usually go different. But yeah, I'm going the same. But here we go then. We are having all 5 lights on. All 5 lights are on. And the Dutch Grand Prix is go. Who's going to get the best start? Max Wiesel will maintain the lead into turn 1. Looks like Xander Van Dyken will try go around the outside. He won't be able to. He has Harvey Cowan for company to the inside as they make their way through. Max Wiesel maintains the lead. Jonna Martins in second. And going wheel to wheel there, Harvey Cowan having to go on the defensive against Camille. Will they all make their way through? Looks like Sergio Sabrino in a battle. He's going to get overtaken by Sven Schumacher there. Duncan Hoffler now trying to make the move as well, but very close is Jonna Martins looking for the lead, trying to get past, and it would have been a really, really hard move to make. He's already on the attack. He's already trying to get to the inside line. So Max Wiesel having to go on the defensive, and Jonna Martins is actually going to dive to the inside. Does he take the lead there wheel to wheel? He has the mediums, so he is going to be a bit more quicker at this stage. Now trying to go around the outside. Can he get on the throttle earlier than his rival? So he's gone different to the people around him, and Max Wiesel squeezing him out, and now Jonna Martins is going to have to be brave to go around the outside. He won't be able to get the move done there, but Max Wiesel maintained it off the start, but straight away, at the end of the lap, he is being put under pressure. However, the top 3 is Max Wiesel, Jonna Martins, and Xander Van Dyke.
Yeah, I want to keep on board him, Jonah, because he needs to go for a charge. Look at him already on the back of Max as they come out of turn 14. Max going to try and defend it. I don't think he can do much because obviously Jonah on these medium tires, he will be stronger now. Into turn 1, side by side. Max on the inside, Jonah on the outside. Jonah's got a better line coming out of turn 1. Can he take the lead? I think he will just about edge it over Max. Yes, he does so now. Max, Jonah Martin's on the medium tires, remember. He's now in the lead now. His aim is to get outside that 1 second gap. He needs to strip a second from Max. Otherwise, he's going to be under more and more pressure, and that'll put him in a really bad situation in the race. If he can get himself outside the 1 second, he can push on, and that should really, really help him when he goes onto the harder compounded tyres later in the race. But then looking further down, we got Sven Schumacher on the mediums, trying to get through on Primoz Michalczyk as well. He's currently sitting down in 9th, trying to get himself up into that top 8. And the issue is for Sven, you've got so many medium hard tyre runners ahead. You've got a lot of work to do to get through that field. You can be quicker, but when they're all following each other in the slipstream, it's so hard to make something work. Now, Joost Noordijk getting very close to the back of Drake Dempsey as they come through in towards turns 11 and 12, trying to get himself up into the top 6 as we have a battle down below. That's and Lundqvist there being overtaken by Ash Bess, who's up into 17th. Obviously having a pretty decent start for him into the top 17, obviously on the medium tyres as well, and that's Joost Noordijk yet again looking for a move on Drake Dempsey. He's got the inside line down towards turn 1. Can he get himself ahead? He did get ahead of Drake. Drake's going to try and fight it on the outside, but he can't get anything to work. So there we are, Joost Noordijk now into that top 6, having a decent start. Now his next challenge is to get through on Kamil Sasha, who had a battle with Harvey at the beginning, nearly took each other out at turn 2, but they made it through perfectly fine, and now Joost has got a big challenge to get ahead of him, and Sven Schumacher yet again trying to get himself through on Michalczyk, and that's Jan Halliday going side by side with Sergio Sabrino, nearly down in towards turn 6 there, just pushing each other through the corner in towards turn 8 now. Can Jan get himself ahead of Sergio as they head down to turn 9? No, he can't, but they nearly made contact there going through in towards turn 6 and 7. In towards turn 10 now. Jan right on the back of Sergio, just trying to get himself through, but I don't think he can make anything work just yet. With the DRS enabled as well, this makes it even harder for all the drivers in the DRS train.
Yeah, all stuck in a DRS train. Drake Dempsey might have been overtaken, but he did have a mega start up a few places there. But let's see who's gonna be going for the moves. You're gonna have to use a bit of ERS if you do want to go for a move. You're gonna need a good exit coming out of the banking, as it looks like Duncan Hofland might momentarily was looking close, but it is hard to make some overtakes. So who is actually going to pull out of the slipstream and go for one into Tarzan corner of at turn number 1? Doesn't look like anyone currently. Does Adam maybe think about it? He's thinking about it on Harley Marquis, who stays ahead. Adam on those soft tires, so he's gone completely different to the whole field. So he's a driver who definitely needs to be making his way through the field very, very quickly. So going different there is Adam, but other than that, they're all now in a DRS train. Jonna Martins probably wants to pull away, so but he's not being able to due to the DRS. Max Wiesel just staying close with him, and that's exactly what he needs at this current stage of the race, because later on, with those medium tyres, when Jona Martins will be on the hards, it'll be Max Wiesel with the advantage, but safety cars can change stuff here, so it's going to be interesting. But Jona Martins currently has first position, but will have to deal with the hards later on, while everyone else will be on the mediums. So we are going to get a bit of a strategy battle here, but if there is no safety cars and if Max just stays onto the back, I think we already 100% know Max is going to take the lead right after the pit stops.
Yeah, and I'm watching Ogiona now, right on the back of Jan Halday. He's had some great pace over these last couple of laps now as we're going towards lap 5. He's got the DRS, but obviously Jan's got a bit better top speed down that straight into turn 1, so he can't get anything to work just yet. Obviously, these are also on mediums, so these tyres will die quicker. They will pit earlier, so eventually Gianpietro will slowly move his way up because of the likes of Sergio, Jan, Sven, Ogiona pitting, but for now, he's just going to stay put in that 13th position. And Jan's made a mistake there going into turn 3. He just relooked the rears a little bit and then had to try and correct it, but he does still keep ahead of Gianpietro. And that's the issue with this track. It's a great track, and it's one of my favourites, but the issue is racing is so difficult because very tight the track is. It's really difficult to get yourself a move unless you're going down to that straight into turn 1, or unless someone makes a giant mistake going into one of the slow braking zone corners now. As we head through in towards turn 10, Duncan Hoffland right on the back of Sven Schumacher, looking to just push Sven through turn 10 there, as he's got the DRS, but yeah, he can't get anything to work. So Duncan's looking quicker than Sven, but with the layout of the track and, you know, the DRS train, it's making it really difficult for him to get through. You can see the apex speed that Duncan's carrying is way more than Sven, but he just can't take that. He can't find an alternative line to get himself through. That's the issue he's got now. As they head out of turn 13 to turn 14 at Ari Lyondike with the DRS now, as they head down into turn 1 yet again also. Sven's looking very close to Primoz Mklavčić. I don't think it'll be much of a worry for Primoz into turn 1. No, it won't, so he keeps ahead into P8 at the front. There's not much going on, but I don't think Max, he's too eager, really, on passing Jona. There's no point, because Jona will pit onto some harder tyres. He will pit earlier than Max, unless there's a safety car or something like rain. So, yeah, there's no issue with Max staying behind. Xander's not going to fly past because of the DRS that Max has got. So, yeah, he could just sit in second now and just pull himself along with Jona Martins, who surprisingly didn't pull away. I'd expect Jonas to pull away a lot more than he did. He got the gap to about 6/10, but then the DRS came. So then he had to, you know, he's had to push, but he just can't get that gap above 5 or 6/10 now, which is a big issue for Jona, because that would have been the thing he really needed at the start of this race now as we head down in towards turns 11 and 12. And I think near enough everyone's now just focusing on just sitting behind each other, pulling each other along with the DRS until the pit stops arrive in about 15 laps time, 10, 15 laps time.
Yeah, so we get a bit of a quiet period now, and then and then the action starts coming when the pit stops come. But yeah, Jona Martins, Jona Martins. The only thing you get with the medium strategy is obviously a bit more of an electric start. And there's Sven Schumacher. Is he gonna dive to the inside? That is aggressive, and he sends Tribbles out wide. Duncan Hoffland says thank you very much. Sven Schumacher super late on the brakes. He knows that he needed to send that move. He needed to send it at some point. It looks like Primoz is out as well. He's out, so that's really unfortunate for him. But Sven Schumacher had to kind of send it there. He knew it is the only way to get through. So yeah, a bit aggressive there, I have to say. But he took the risk. It's obviously paid off for him, but it hasn't paid off for Primoz. So unfortunate for him. But he finds himself as our first retirement.
Yeah, pretty much definitely did want that, and now we're on board with Joost Nordholt trying to get himself ahead of Camel Stachura there. As they come through turn 10, he's got the DRS, he's got a bit of better pace, Joost has, but he just can't maximise it all, he can't get through because of this train being so close between the top 6. Drake's starting to lose touch slowly with this battle for P6, so he's got to gain some pace. So he's Duncan Hoffland, he's sitting 7/10 back from Drake. Now we head out of turn 14 down to turn 1. Joost, he seems to carry a lot of top speed compared to some of the others. And Max Wiesel coming for the move into turn 1, does get himself ahead of Jona. Jona's going to fight back around the outside. That's going to allow Xander Van Dyken to try and make something work. He just about can't. But now, Max Wiesel back into the lead. So, as I said earlier, he wasn't eager on it. Well, he's obviously ignored me and gone straight for it. So he's now going to be leading the race ahead of Jona Martins.
Yeah, he's probably listened to you and then just said, well, I'll make this overtake. But yeah, it was a slam dunk overtake. So yeah, he's decided to go for it. He wouldn't have taken any risks, as he knows there's no point doing it, but it was a slam dunk, so he just went for it there. Now, Jona Martin just needs to stay close and just try, he needs to stay in the DRS and then just try and fight back. But yeah, Xander Van Dyke and all of the field are going to be right over him as Just Norodike lurking close to Camille there, but is he gonna force the defensive save? No, looks like Just Norodike is gonna have to stay behind as Camille closes in also on Harvey Karen as well. So yeah, they're all in a DRS split, and you just gotta be close. And really, the only place you're gonna see overtakes is first position, as the car ahead doesn't have DRS, but you need the car behind to actually go on the attack. Now we have Jona Martins gaining. Is he gonna pull out the system, go for it? No, so he's gonna stay behind. Yeah, so looks like they're all gonna get. Are we gonna get any moves? We might be getting one in the back. I think Ash is gonna get past Adam Lundqvist as his soft tires start to fall away now at this stage of the race. So Ash has got that move done to take 16th. But other than that, they're all very close together, I have to say, but obviously we aren't seeing any moves. And has there been a moment for one of the drivers?
Yeah, Jan Harday, he's spun around, he's had an incident with Gian Pietro Aguiano. So those two now down sitting in 18th and 19th. That was at the exit of turn 3 there. So I think the likeliness is, they're having a bit of another battle as well. I think the likeliness is one of them's gone a bit too aggressive on the exit of turn 3 and he's just lost the rear and just slid to the right and he's just pushed the other one off. And Argiano, it looks like he also had a bit of lag as well, so that could have also been the cause. Those two. Big shame to see them down at the bottom. Jan, obviously, on those hard medium tyres, was looking to make something work, charging himself through the field. But, obviously, this incident with Gian Pietro has really ruined it for him now. So Jan will be quite annoyed with that one because they're 7 seconds back off of the top 17. So they've got, to make anything work, they've got lots of work to do now. As they head down, we'll see whether they pit or whether they stay out as they head down in towards turn 13. As we look back to the front, is Jona Martin's going to go for a move for the lead? No, he sits back into turn 1. Also, Xander Van Dyke, and they're getting a bit hungry. He went a bit wide. That allows Harvey Cohen through down at turn 1 as well. So now Harvey into that provisional podium position. Camel Stature also looking to get something to work as well. He's right behind the back of Xander Van Dyke and coming through there. Can he make something work down to turn 6? Surely not. No, we'll have to sit back on this occasion. Jos Nordok as well, sitting right behind, and Gian Pietro and Jan. Well, Jan's going to retire. Gian Pietro's just going to pop himself into the bits and probably, onto a new set of medium tyres. So he's going to have to take those 26 laps unless there's a safety car. So he's going to go bold on that strategy. We'll see if that one works out in due course. And look at this here. Camel Statter pushing Xander Van Dyken through turn 9 as they head into turn 10. DRS for them all, apart from Max Wiesel. As they head up and look at this here, that's also Jos Nordijk getting close to the back of Camille. But obviously Camille's going to use that DRS to defend, but that's Duncan Hoffler getting through and Drake Dempsey.
Yeah, getting the move done just out of the 16, got the inside line, was able to send it and be later on the brakes there. But back over to the front. Last lap didn't look like Jona Martins wanted to actually take the lead. He backed out of it. But let's see, is it going to be the same strategy again as we head towards turn 1? He doesn't seem like he wants to take this back at this stage, but I doubt he'll be able to take it back later on in the race. Well, he'll have the hard tire, so it'll be harder for him. Are we going to be getting any moves? I think that will be a move there. Ash diving it to the inside of Harlem Marquis, and Ash gets that move done. There was also a bit of wheel-to-wheel between Wilson Hull and Bogdan Moldovan, so they were going wheel-to-wheel, but yeah, other than that, still look at Harvey Karen pushing Gunnar Martins, and they're all kind of pushing each other at the front of this queue. Does Harlem now go for the move on Ash? It's always risky to this part of the lap. You don't really want to go for it because you're putting your race there at risk, and you could end up losing time. And you really need to stick inside this 1 second and be with this whole pack. Gives you a lot of opportunities and keeps you in this race. You'd need a safety car otherwise, which we currently haven't had in this race, but it is a possibility, especially in a social race where we usually see the drivers maybe sometimes a tiny bit more aggressive, and we usually see a bit more retirement. So safety cars are definitely a possibility around the circuit. Now Harvey Cohen looking very, very quick as he heads towards turn number 1, and that's why Jona Martins also having to now pull alongside Max Wiesel. Is he going to go for the move around the outside? Surely not, but he goes wide, which might open the door on traction for Harvey Karen to dive to the inside. He can't do anything with that. Looks like Harlem Marquis is finding his way past Ash Best, who will try fight back on traction, but he won't be able to fight back on that occasion. However, Max Wiesel now being pushed, because if Jona Martins might need to actually take this place and take the lead, but if he doesn't, then Harvey Karen and Xander and Dyken are all waiting in behind to take this one away from him.
Yeah, I think at the moment, any of these top 4 could be looking to take the win. Max, Jan, Harvey, or Xander. It seems at the moment. George says, are we going to see a Xander Van Dyken win? Maybe. Maybe we could do. We'll see what happens in the remainder of the race. And obviously, Jona's on a different strategy, so we'll see how that works out for him now. Has he got the DRS down in towards the turn 11? Does he go for a move? No. He sits back, but he's now starting to push and getting a lot more closer to Max than he was beforehand. So we're looking now to see possibly Jona try and get himself through down to turn 1 and retake that lead that he got on lap 1. Now we have a battle between Lundqvist and Moldovan. This is down at turn 12, the exit at turn 12 into turn 13. Lundqvist with the inside, Bogdan with the outside line as they come through there. A bit more contact, and that's the overtake for the lead. That's Jona Martins there into the lead now, ahead of Max Wiesel and Harvey Cohen sitting right behind them very comfortably within 0.2 of a second. But Harvey and Xander haven't really done much overtaking. They've just kind of sat there and just let Jona and Max take the lead, retake the lead of each other, just pulling themselves along, and it's working very well for them so far. They haven't got to push too hard, so they don't have to worry too much about their their tyre wear. Obviously, Max and Jona specifically will be pushing a lot more, so he's going to be using a lot more of his tyres than the others. As we have some pits now, we have Sergio Sobrino and Harlan Marquis onto a new set of hard tyres, so they're going to take their hard tyres now from that 13 to 36. That's pretty long, but around a short track like this, I'm sure it should be very doable now. Looking back at the top 3, that was Xander Van Dijk, and they're looking for a bit of a move on Harvey. Sat back, however, so not going to go for it just yet. And Joost Noordijk as well. Still on the back of Camille and just can't get his way through. He seems a lot quicker on pace, but he just can't find to open that door. Camille's defending very well. This track you don't need to be able to defend well either because of how thin it is. So, yeah, literally DRS is the only way you can overtake around here. Unless you're comparing brand new soft tyres to old hards, and obviously it's just easy for you to send it, but in general they're not going to be able to do much here. And Sven Schumacher now into the pit lane, he'll be going onto a set of hard tyres, so yeah, we expect to see the hards probably pitting around lap 20, so within about 4 or 5 laps we'll see the hard tyres pit onto mediums, unless someone goes really bold and goes for a set of softs where you need to pit around lap 28, 29 for it to work properly. Otherwise, your hard tyres are just going to start to die. So obviously, we saw that with Adam Lundqvist now, who's onto a set of hard tyres, and that's Sergio Sobrino moving himself ahead of Sven Schumacher. Obviously, on different strategies, Sergio already pitted, but he has got a penalty. So that puts him under lots of pressure to just try and get himself ahead of that gap. I think it's a 3-second as well. So obviously he can't serve that in the pits. He has to serve that at the end of his race. And now we'll watch Max Wiesel. Is he going to go for a move? Because he got very close there to the back of Jona Martins down into turn 11 with the DRS. But yeah, just not close enough on this occasion. We'll see Jona probably soon, within the next 2 or 3 laps, peel into the pits and get himself a new set of tyres. But yeah, until then, it's going to be pretty much the same top 10, I think, in this race.
Yeah, and actually, it's a 5-second penalty to Sabrino and Harlan. So I think they might have picked it up in the pit lane, maybe speeding in the pits. Unsure actually what that was for, but we're watching Max Wiesel gain, but not looking for the move. Duncan Hofland, can he go for it? He was getting very close to the back of Joost Noordijk, but he couldn't get the move done there. But yeah, we're starting to see the pit stops, and Jona Martins. I'm expecting him to be pitting soon, as you said just now. And then if Max Wiesel, Harvey Cowan, and Xander Van Dijk can all duel it out, that's good news for Jona Martin, so he can have a bit of a gap. But he's gonna have to hope that they battle it out. But it depends how clever they play. It depends how clever they play, because if they don't play it clever, then they could find themselves losing time. As that's Harlan Marquis getting the move done around the outside of Adam Lundqvist. But yeah, I think we're going to be getting to see the pit stop soon here.
Yeah, so looking back at the lead, Jona Martins obviously not got DRS. Max has, as we head down in towards turn 11. Let me know, everyone, if the stream's all right. I had a bit of lag on it just and it turned off, but let me know if we're all back fine. It should be, but yeah, just let me know. As we now head out of turn 11 and 12 with Joost Noordijk trying to get himself onto the back of Camel Snatcher still. Into turn 13 and 14, we'll see he's got the DRS, but I think yet again, this DRS train comes into play. You can't get anything to work. Does Jona pick? No. So Jona's staying out pretty long compared to the rest of the medium runners. Everyone else on the mediums, apart from Ash, has already pitted onto a set of hards. Jona's staying out longer, so we'll see if this is going to work for Jona. As that's Duncan Hofland there going for a move on ahead of Joost Noordijk into the top 6 now for him. He's having a pretty decent race. He's getting the moves done where no one else could really make anything work, whereas Duncan can. As comes out of turn 4. Nearly went for a move on Camel Stature as well. We'll see. He's burning the battery now as he comes through. In towards turn 6. He's going to go for the outside line. Can he get himself ahead? They make contact through there. And I think, yep, so Camel just defends it. But they made a bit of heavy contact. That could have ended very badly for those two as they come now down into turn 9. Does Duncan go for it again? No, he doesn't. So he's a bit far back. But you could see there a lot more battery usage for Duncan. It gave him so much more speed coming up in towards turn 6. Now we'll see again, does he use the battery down into turn 11 and 12? We'll see. I think he has, because look at this there. Duncan just pushing straight past Camel Satcher into the chicane, has the inside line, gets himself ahead. So yeah, no more defensive work for Camel, because now he's got to try and defend. Well, no more defensive from Duncan. He's got to defend from Yost, who's sitting right behind him now as they come out at turn 13. And that's a VSC.
Yeah,
that's a VSC. Who's that? It's Harlem, isn't it? Yep,
Yeah,
Harlem
the
Marquis.
Yep. And yeah, they're all pitting now. They're all pitting. It's the best opportunity to pit during this World for Safety Car, and they've all taken it. But yeah, Duncan Offland, that got so tight. And around the outside, you don't really want to try because you're putting your race at risk there. And into the ground with how close everyone is, it would be very unfortunate. But yeah, all the pit stops. We have a lot of action in the pit lane now due to this virtual safety car.
Yep, and Ash Beth now takes the lead of the race. 16 laps on those medium tyres, hasn't pitted, whereas everyone else pretty much has. Sven Schumacher has been put into a good position. He's up to P7. No, he's down to P8, sorry. Now, as the VSC is still out, so we'll see if anyone can make any moves. I think, with obviously the pit lane being different with the multiplayer cars, I think we'll probably see people lose positions due to that issue of people being held up in the pit. So, we're coming through. It's Yona, Max and Harvey, the provisional top 3, and Ash Best obviously in the lead, but he'll obviously lose that and probably drop down to the back as he'll have to pit onto a new set of tyres. And we have a battle in there between Skither and that's Skither and Louis Welch battling for P11 now as they head down into turn 9. Can Louis get himself ahead? Obviously, Louis, the pad goat, playing on, I think he's one of the only players in here playing on the controller, so he's doing a great job for that, considering he's not got the equipment the others have. He's doing a really great job now as I head down in towards turns 11 and 12. Do we see any moves from anyone down there? No, we don't, but Skither and Louis really close on the back of each other. Also, they're trying to gain on Sergio. Remember, Sergio's on the hard tyre, so he will be slower than the likes of Skither, Louis, Drake and the others. So, yeah, they're going to really need to just push themselves past Sergio. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck behind and probably lose a lot of track position. And now we look further up, and that's Yona Martins there, taking lead from Ash Best, and Max Wiesel trying to gain back now. And the issue that Max has got now is, so Ash does move out the way, so he's not going to hold anyone up, which is a good thing. So he just lets Harvey and Max through as we head down into turn 3, and yeah, just moving out the way, not causing any trouble, not going to battle hard. He just moves over to the side at turn 4, which I thought he would have tried to defend it at least.
Yeah. And also he disconnected, so that would have been the reason why he. Yep. So obviously the AI not pitting him under the virtual safety car, so very unfortunate. But they're also close together. Drake Dempsey, they're thinking about it on Louis Welch there to try and get the move done. He'll try different racing lines. He'll try get on the power. That one didn't work out for him though. He needs to remain close. He needs to get a better exit and then maybe use a tiny bit of your ERS. But it doesn't look close. Looks like Louis Welch looks closer to Sergio Sabrina on those hards, but it doesn't look like anyone's gonna make any kind of moves on this straight. Yeah, but they do have obviously they have now a chance. It looks like Max Wiesel might also be going for it. He's not going to waste any time being stuck behind the hard runner of Yona Martins, because he's going to pull out of the slipstream, go to the inside line. Fastest laps being traded, but the lead has been the lead has changed. Max Wiesel has now taken first place. Now, how quickly can Harvey Karen, Xander Van Dyke, and Callum, how quickly can they all get through? And it's so tight. That's Drake Dempsey now losing a place. And we also have now yellow flags as well, but that's going to be risky in contact. Drake Dempsey trying to dive to the inside of Louis Welch. And I think you saw more of that.
He's
Drake
out.
Dempsey's out. Yeah, Drake Dempsey's out. So I think after the contact, did he just maybe press the retire button?
He just clicked DNF. Which makes no sense. I don't know why people are doing that constantly, but yeah, it's a big shame. Drake was looking to make something work. Got a bit of they went 3-1 into turn 1. But obviously, then he had that contact. He must have got damage between him and Louis. So then he just thought, yeah, we'll just end the race now. Just click DNF. So at least he didn't crash on track. So we don't have safety cars. We just have a car pulling over to the side, and he'll the car will. Yeah, there we are. The car's disappeared now. So we go back to green flag conditions very shortly, as we also have Gianpietro's car also retiring out on track as well, down at the exit of, down at the entry, I suppose we could say, at turn 2. Now, looking here, this is a 3-1 battle into turn 1 between Yoda, Harvey and Max now. Into turn 1, Yoda around the outside and Harvey in the middle. Yoda gets shoved off. Harvey goes wide. Max goes straight through now and puts himself back into that lead. But that was a close on. Harvey there got his elbows out heavily, pushed Yoda very wide. And now Harvey into that P2. And now we have Duncan Hoffland trying to get himself ahead of Yona Martins. Obviously, he's on the medium tyres, so he'll be a lot quicker than Yona Martins as we head up in towards turn 6 and 7. this is not ending good at all for Yona. Obviously, just being. He looks like Harvey's pushed him off track at turn one. Obviously, people locking up, getting re-locking that can also cause issues. But yeah, not good at all for Yona, and it puts him under more pressure on the likes of Duncan, Xandra, and Yost.
Yeah, it was really tight into turn number one. Yona Martin's almost finding himself in the ground, but watch Duncan Hoffland. He's been the one who's been making overtakes. Was able to get past Xander Van Dyken on the last straight. Now he's tucked up right behind the top three, and now Harvey Cowan obviously being in second. And I think Duncan Hoffland will get the move done on Yona Martins, because Yona Martins on those hard. So let's see, will it be this straight? It might be. It might be another lap, might not be able to make it this time, but can Harvey Cowan maybe make the move? It looks like he's going to sit back at this stage of the race. We'll look back to see if anyone else can. Xander Van Dyken also there as well, and he's getting a bit of a tap there by Jos Noordijk. Louis Welsh there past Sergio Sabrina, so that's the change we've had. Also Wilson Hall getting past Moldovan, also at turn number one. So yeah, a few changes we're having. But it's really going to start kicking off for the lead. Is Jos Noordijk going to risk it there? He's trying to make the move on Xander Van Dyken. And we're on board with Xander Van Dyken. And Jos Noordijk goes round all the way around the outside. And off the road goes Duncan Hoffland. Duncan Hoffland making a mistake. And all me saying, and now that's going to be also a move. Xander Van Dyken dives to the inside, trying to take advantage. And instead he's going to lose a position. Through goes Camel to take sixth position as well. But that was so tight. And they both lost time. But it looks like Duncan just ran wide on his own there with a mistake. But yeah, unfortunate for Duncan. But I think, let's see if he can close back in. It's going to be important for him to be inside the 1 second at the detection zone coming right up. Looks like he will be. The gap is 9 tenths, but that was a very close moment there between all of the drivers.
Yeah, that was a very close moment. 4 of them they're going to turn on, all side by side. Luckily, they all came out unscathed, and Duncan very close to losing that 1 second gap as Harvey Cohen getting right to the back of Max Wiesel, but not going to go for the lead just yet. So he wants to stick back. Yoda Martins as well, doing a pretty good job on these hard tyres to stick back now. Obviously, at the moment, those hards and mediums, there's not much difference, it seems, because the owner's doing a pretty good job just to sit within 2 or 3 tenths now. The end of the race, obviously, the hards last a lot longer than the mediums. We could see a bit of a resurgence again from Yona at the end. If his hard tyres can do better than the mediums by the time we get to lap 34, lap 35, we could see Yona yet again try and charge for that first and second, because his tyres will be a lot newer, they'll have more grip. So yeah, it could get very interesting to the end if Yona sticks with these guys. But looking further, then Duncan's looking to get himself back into that 4 or 5 tenths gap now. Obviously, very close to losing the 1 second half a lap ago. As we know, head out of turn 10 up towards turns 11 and 12. This is momentarily where we saw all these drivers fourth down to 7th fighting. Xander, it's not worked out at all for him, as he was sitting in the top 3 earlier on at the start. Now he's down in 7th, and this is, the worst outcome from him as possible so far. So he needs to try and figure out, what he's doing wrong and just try and fix it and get himself back through the field, because Xander's a very quick driver. He should be in that top 5. He shouldn't be sitting in 7th, so we need to see why and see if he can try and make something different now. Then to turn 1 yet again, and Harvey still choosing to sit back from Max Wiesel. So still not going to send it. Just wants to sit back and pull himself along with that DRS, and obviously charge his ERS as well, not push too hard on the mediums. And Yona looking at that very close, 2.5 tenths now as they come out of turn 3. And we'll see as they head up towards turns 5 and 6 now. Duncan 2.5 tenths back, Yona 2.5 tenths back now. And yet I think this will be a great race towards the end. I think any of the top 6 could try and make it work, but I ain't going to root for Yona now. I think by lap 33, lap 34, those hards will be in a better position than the mediums.
Yeah, and he's doing very, very well to stay glued up all the way to the back currently of Harvey Cowan in this battle. So yeah, if he can just keep in here, he'll be getting the advantage later on in this race. So that's going to be good for him. He's currently in a good position in 3rd. Duncan Hofflander probably wants to get that move done and improve to the top 3. But yeah, they're all just sitting behind. I don't think Harvey Cowan wants to risk any more contact like it was very close with a 3-round moment earlier on. But Yona Martins, let's see who is going to go for some moves. Doesn't look like Harvey Cowan will be making it. He's deciding to sit back once again. But the thing is, Yona Martins is gaining as well to the back of Harvey Cowan. So Harvey Cowan's kind of having to pull out the slipstream as well. Is that Louis Welsh maybe thinking about it on Sven Schumacher? He thought about it, couldn't get the move done there. But yeah, it's really exciting for the lead. It's going to start kicking off very, very soon, more towards the final stages. But obviously Harvey Cowan in a hard position. He doesn't want to make the move done, but Yona Martin, Duncan Hoffland all pressuring him all the way. So yeah, and also Camille staying very close as well to the back of Jos Noordijk. So does anyone decide to go for a lunge? No. So they're all just sitting in there. But yeah, 7 cars in the win. So it could, if there is a bit of chaos, it could really be any of them. But realistically, it looks like it is going to be maybe I'd say between the top 4 because Duncan does look very pacey.
He does, as we now come down in towards 10, 11 and 12, and that was Kemmel there looking for a bit of a lunge on the back of Joost Noordijk. Couldn't get through. Xander Van Dijk can also push him through that corner there. So Kemmel and Xander want to get themselves through on Joost. It looks like they're a bit quicker than him, but they just can't get their way through, and that's the issue you have now as you head out of turn 14, down towards turn 1 yet again now. The issue that Harvey has is he can't let off too early, otherwise Jonah will just be able to fly past. So he's going to be very careful and play it strategically into turn 1. That's Kemmel Thatcher fighting with Joost Noordijk. The battle now for the top, for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th now as they come out of turn 1. Rumble strip sire for, I think that was Xander Van Dijk, and it was Joost Noordijk as they come through there. And you're trying to get mixed up because everyone's all in these different cars. You're trying to figure out who's who. Now we head up towards turn 4, and I think the order sits pretty much the same. But yeah, they went for a bit of a... They went crazy down turn 1 there, didn't they? But you can't figure out who's who because of all these different cars. And you're thinking, hang on, who's this, who's that?
Yeah, really. Yeah, it is really hard. So yeah. But it did seem like Joost Noordijk obviously going on the defensive, but I think he tried it around the outside. It would have been Duncan Hofland, but
he's left.
Oh.
That's not good.
So maybe some, so maybe some issues for him. But yeah, he tried to go around the outside of Duncan Hofland. Probably not, but it was most likely due to him obviously being on the defenses or having to be led on the brakes. Then he tried around the outside, but Duncan was just probably Duncan didn't notice he was there. So really unfortunate for him, but he can still fight back. He's still in the scrap. And so it's going to be interesting now. We're heading towards the final stages, and Xander Van Dijk and the AI is kind of ruining his race because he's into the pits.
Yeah, and that is now Xander Van Dijken's race. Pretty much done. Dusty's on to soft tyres. He's got 10 laps to go. I'm not sure if that's him or if that's his AI, but yeah, either way, that's not ideal at all. So it brings a battle now with just the top 6. Max, Harvey, Jonah, Duncan, Kemmel and Joost. These are F1 cars. Yeah, they are equal. They're a lot more equal than the actual cars, so that's why we're using them at the moment. In F1 23, we will be back soon with the official cars, but for now we need to just use what is most equal, which unfortunately is the F1 World cars, which all have different liveries. And it'd be nice if all the drivers had liveries that could try and correspond to something other than just random colours, because you have Verstappen liveries, you got McLaren liveries, pink liveries. It's all mix and match, and everyone's, you're just trying to figure out who's who. All I know is that Max Wiesel is in a Connor Sport car, and that Duncan Hofland is in a pink car. Everyone else is in some random looking liveries, as obviously Max and Duncan do stick out now. As you head down to turn 1, Harvey Cole looking to stretch out for the lead. Can he get the lead into turn 1? Yes, he will now. Puts himself into that top 1 position with Max just sitting right behind. Can he try and fight back down to turn 2? I don't think he can. Does he go for it into turn 3 maybe? No, but he does go for he went for a bit of an outside line there. Harvey going a bit deep, goes a little bit wide, but he makes it through perfectly fine. So now the lead has changed on that 27 and 36. Jonah Martin still sticking within 3 or 4 tenths of them, and Duncan Hofland also within 3 tenths of him as well now. As we head through down towards turn 8 before hitting turn 9, and you can see there Max and Harvey 2 tenths apart as we head down into the latter part of this second sector. Obviously, lap 27 and 36, 9 laps left to remain in this race at the moment. The top 5 all looking, top 6, I can say, are all looking to hunt for that podium and that win here in Zandvoort as we now head down into turn 11 and 12 yet again. And still, Harvey leading from Max Wiesel. As we head out of there, we'll see if Max can try and take the lead yet again back into turn 1. Looking further down, some more battles. We got Louis Welch there on the back of Sven Schumacher. Obviously, Sven's on the older hard tyres, so he'll be under a lot of compromisation there from the medium runners as we come out of turn 13 and 14 up towards turn 1. DRS for Louis. Will Louis get through? Surely he will. There we are. Louis just powers past Sven Schumacher. Like watching an F2 and F1 car battle down the main straight up into P8 now, ahead of Sven. And Sven there was looking to try and, I think, squeeze himself back up the inside, but just couldn't make it work at the moment. And now we have another battle. It's Sergio Sobrino and Wilson Hall and Bogdan Moldovan and Adam Lundqvist. I didn't see this little battle going on for 10th to 13th. As Xander Van Dijken still sits 11 seconds back. So yeah, he's pretty much out of this one. So we've got a battle for P10, and then obviously we've got that battle for P1 and 2 and 3. Well, somebody could say the battle for the top 6, and then obviously Skidder and Louis are kind of sitting in their own little world now, not really battling for much, not defending for much either. So, they're just going to stick with what them, and hopefully for some people like Skidder and Louis, just hope something at the top happens so they can make something work. And as I say that, Camel Staturer goes round. So that was perfect timing. Oh, that's a defend from Sven there. Nearly hits the back of Camel. Sven does as they come down to turn 11. But, Omi, that could not have been perfect timing.
Yeah, the commentator's curse happening once again. So, yeah, Camel, you know who's to blame.
And Yost as
Oh.
well. Yost also dropped. I just realised he's 3 seconds back. And lead for the
Here
turn
comes
one.
Max. Yeah, Max going for it. Max has got the position. He's got past Harvey Karen, and yeah, yes, they're now changing positions. Sven Schumacher getting past Louis Welsh as well there. But yeah, change for the lead. So it looks like they're gonna keep changing, but it's all about who's gonna exit the banked corner of turn number 3 ahead. So yeah, it is really harder to make an overtake later on in the lap. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But now, as we're heading more into the final stages, but we are getting a few extra moves coming. So we're all building up here. So it could be Max, who has looked to be in control for most of this race. Harvey Karen, Jonna Martins could come back to him. We're on those hard compound tires, and Duncan Hoffman is just going to wait behind and hope there is some chaos between the top 3 ahead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting one. We've got 7 laps remaining. We've got lots of little battles now. Obviously, Joost battling with Skier there. We've got Sven, Louis, and Camille as well. So lots of little battles in this race. And to end it off, I think it'll be a great one around Sandford. But yeah, it was quite interesting there between Joost and Camille. I don't know what happened, but they must have had at least some sort of half spin because they dropped 3 seconds, 4 seconds back now. Battle for lead again into turn 1. This time it's Duncan Hoffman got to remove on Jona Martins and just couldn't get himself through. But yeah, head the cookie crumbles. We go for a battle between the 1st to 7th. Then it goes to the top 6. Now, just to the top 4, battling for that, well, I suppose you can say Hoffland battling for that podium with Jona and Harvey. And then obviously we got all of them battling for that P1 over Max. So yeah, this could be a really interesting race. But Jona's starting to come back a bit. Harvey, unless he's over this lap. But obviously lap 30 of 36, 6 laps left to go. And surely soon we'll see those hards start to become a little bit more comfortable than the mediums as we come through there. And Duncan Hoffland going for a move on Jona. Jona goes defensive. That's to defend from that one. Now we head down in towards turn 11 and 12. I don't think we'll see any moves. No, we won't. We'll see any move probably down in towards turn 1 as there we are. They all make it through turn 11 and 12 pretty easily. Down into turn 13 very shortly. At the end of this, well, I suppose coming to the end of the 3rd sector. And still, the battle between Louis, Camel, and Sven gets interesting as that time. Well, there we are. Camel's got ahead of both of them now. It's Louis' turn to try and get himself back ahead of Camel with the DRS.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. Is Louis Welsh going to go for the move? It looks like it'll be an easy pass with DRS. Can Camel do anything as they head into the braking zone of Tarzan? Tries to fight back to the inside line. Can't get the move done. Well, can't re-overtake there. But yeah, Louis Welsh has that position. What about Sergio Sabrino? Glued up all the way back to the back of Wilson Hall. But yeah, Sergio Sabrino having that penalty, and it's going to be unfortunate. Well, they're not fighting for any points, but obviously none of these drivers really get any points in this one. Just a social race, so it's mostly just a bit of competitive fun racing here. So yeah, but obviously having that penalty not going to help him at all. But yeah, we're heading now towards more of the final stages. We're inching closer to that final lap, but yeah, Duncan Hoffland, is he going to be able to make any moves? But it looks like Jonna Martin, though, he's looking currently the best in that top 3 with those hard compound tires. So I think he could maybe make the move on Harvey Karen very, very shortly, and then maybe set up Max Wiesel for a last lap overtake.
Yeah, I think because of the issue with the DRS, Yona's got to get through on Harvey ASAP. Otherwise, it's going to become harder and harder to take that lead. Now, down to turn 1. This is Harvey. Is he going for a move into turn 1? No, he's not. Oh, Jona there nearly hitting the back of Harvey into turn 1. So, obviously, Harvey lifting off there to not overtake Max. And Jona wanted to get through on Harvey, but just couldn't get it through. Now, we head down in towards turn 3, and it's still the top 3 of Max, Harvey, and Jona. Then we have Duncan Hoffland in 4th. Now, obviously, Joost Nordijk and Camel Sasha had a battle, and they obviously must have made contact. They're now sitting 5th and 8th, so that's not working out for them well at all. And Skither is looking on for a top 5, so this is going to look really well for him. And also, Louis Welch still battling for that P7 with Camel. So at the moment, Camel's, considering what we see from him normally, he's not got that overall pace over Louis. Louis has been looking really quick.
Yep, he absolutely has. So it's going to be really, really interesting now to see what is going to happen in this scrap. We're currently, Duncan Hoffman getting super, super close, and they're all glued up right now the top 4 to each other. So this could get a tiny bit interesting if Harvey Cameron doesn't go for a max resell. Then Yana Martins, Duncan Offland, they're all gonna be there. And here we go. Harvey Cameron is gonna have to go for his max resell. Tries to cover off the inside, but he can't do it quick enough because Harvey Cowan is taking the lead. And now Yana Martin's trying to dive to the inside and take the place as well. Who has it on traction as they make their way through? He gets the inside line. Max Wiesel might have to back out. He does. And looks like he's lost out there. And Duncan Hoffman, where is he? He can't get the move done there, but Max Wiesel, well, he went into the straight first. He ends it in third. So yeah, that was very, very exciting there. And Harvey Cowan had to go for it. Max Wiesel covered the inside line. Harvey Cowan almost hitting the back of Max Wiesel. However, being able to get the move done. And now Yana Martins in second place. So he just needs to stay close and he'll have opportunity.
Oh, Yana Martins!
Oh, he's off. He's off. And I was about to say yeah, he's off the road. And I was about to say that the race obviously coming towards him on those hard combat tires, but he makes that error. So it looks like it is going to be Duncan Hoffland versus Max Wiesel versus Harry Cowan, as Max Wiesel also losing some time a tiny bit, so he needs to try get back close. But yeah, good thing I didn't say that, or I would have cursed him. So yeah, Yana Martin, so unfortunate. He now needs to try get back up all the way to Duncan Hoffland. He's going to have to now try get back inside the 1 second. But can Duncan Hoffland go for the move maybe on Max Wiesel now?
That's a really odd one there for Yona. As we now head down to turn 1, we won't get any moves for the lead. But yeah, that was really weird for Yona. It seemed like he locked up, but it wasn't like he was at slow speed. It was at full speed. The car just locked up. So yeah, that's not ideal for him at all. And that's Camel Satchel there battling with Sven Schumacher into turn 1. Camel ahead of Sven now. But yeah, that's not good at all for Yona Martins, as he now sits down in P4, just trying to get himself back into that 1 second gap of the top 3. I think he's very close to it, but he's just on that, touch and go 1.1 seconds now as they come through towards turn 6. And Duncan Hoffland is looking in a great position to try and challenge Harvey for that win, because I think, he's looking a lot quicker than Max at this point now as we head down into turn 9. And I think Duncan, at the start of the race, he was looking really quick, just working his way through on the field, getting the moves done that others couldn't. So yeah, this is looking for a great opportunity. I think Duncan, could be looking for a win here if he can get it, if he can get through a Max. He's put himself in a prime position to get himself through into that win. But yeah, it's a close one. The top 3 are all in it. It's hard to call who it will be, but yeah, Duncan's been looking, I'd say, so far the strongest of them all. Max, it seems like he's dropped off a little bit of pace. Harvey's been pretty consistent, but Duncan's been charging through all race now as he head out of turn 14 into turn 1. Do we see any moves for that top position? I don't think we do now as he head into turn 1. Lap 35-36, the penultimate lap of the race. So we've only got 2 laps to go. So if you want to get a move, you've got to get it done now.
Yeah, you do, as that's Sven Schumacher getting the move done on Camille, but Camille straight away fighting back. Sergio Sabrina trying to go all the way around the outside of Wilson Hall, who covered the inside line brilliantly, and Sergio Sabrina was not able to get the move done there. Bogdan Moldovan is just waiting for an opportunity, trying a different racing line as we make our way through it. But look how close now. Max Wiesel back, closed up. Duncan Hoffland also in there as well. I'm going to change my prediction and go for Duncan Hoffland win because he looks facey, and he has been facey all throughout this race. Yana Martin's now starting to join this party, but they're now going to make their way all the way through towards the end of this lap. Duncan Hoffland is getting closer, so they're all glued to each other because they now know that their opportunity is coming. They're going to make their way through the banking, and it's going to have to be a final lap move for them. So Harvey Cowan is going to lead them through, but Max Wiesel and Duncan Hoffland are going to come in. Yana Martin rejoining this party. Duncan Hoffland right up to the back. So this is going to be a big scrap now as we head onto the final lap towards turn 1.
Yep, towards turn 1 there. Max Wiesel looking for lead along with Duncan Hoffland. DRS, ERS down to turn 1. Max takes the lead. Duncan sits back now, but Max goes wide. That's not good. That allows Harvey to fight back, and Duncan Hoffland has a bit of contact. Can he take the 3 wide into turn 2? Who takes the lead? They make big contact. Max takes it, and into the wall is Duncan and Harvey. They're into the wall in the final lap now, and that puts you over into the top 2 and Joost Noordijk into the top 3, and that is absolute heartbreak for those two on the final lap down at turn 3 into the wall. And this has pretty much solidified it now for Max Wiesel, but what, I don't even know what happened there. And that has changed it completely. Skither now looking to fight for a podium as he knows it's on down at turn 9, but this has changed dramatically there. Just in 2 corners. They went 3 wide into turn 2. One of them I thought would maybe spin out or something, but no, 2 of them DNF, and that has changed it completely, and that has kind of turned down the climax of what it could have been down at the final lap. But there we are. So only 12 runners now as we come through into the final corner. It's turn 13 before in turn 14 at Larry Leyendijk, and Max Wiesel will come through to take the victory ahead of Jona Martins, who takes that P2 as we go up towards the line, and it'll be close, but yeah, Max takes the victory here in Zandvoort. Jona in P2, and then Joost and Skidder to the line. 24,000 between those two, but Joost just about gets that P3. But yeah, that was something down at turn 3.
Yeah, they went 3 wide. 3 wide didn't really work into turn 2 and 2 of them finding the wall. So yeah, and it is really, really tight with the power lap. So, so obviously you were expecting a spin. I think we were all expecting a tiny bit of contact there, but yeah, very unfortunate. And yeah, and it's kind of as we expected. On the final lap of the race, they're gonna give it their all, but yeah, unfortunately having contact, and that's their race pretty much done. Obviously, a social race though, so not going to affect their championship at all. But they have displayed, but obviously we have to say they have displayed a lot of good pace for Big C and all of the management team at PSGL for placement. So it's not going to be too bad for them. But yeah, contact down at turn number. And contact down at turn number 2, which is very easy when you go 3 wide.
Yeah, but well, it was an interesting end to say the least. I don't think I've seen many people DNF on the final lap of the race together, but yeah, it's a big shame. But well done to Max and Jona. Obviously, Max made that work perfectly by just being he was aggressive, but he didn't go too aggressive. He knew when to back off, which is a good thing. That saved him the victory. Jona Martins there, he played that strategy perfectly, puts himself into P2, and then Joost Noordijk moving his way all the way up from 7th. He dropped down after being in the top 4. Then he moved back up to the top 3. And Skidder, 14th to 4th. And Louis Welch, 15th to 5th.
Yep, really was a great race there. Action all the way to the end. We saw a brilliant ending coming. We did get a brilliant ending. Max Wiesel coming out on top, started in first and finished in first. So your prediction is correct, but he did have to go under a lot of pressure, more than we kind of expected after qualifying. In race pace, other drivers were able to match him, but yeah, Jona Martins on a completely different strategy as well to everyone around him, so he did pretty well to hang in there as well. But very unfortunate with the mistake right to the end. Pretty much kind of cost himself a victory, because he got really alongside right at the line. So yeah, it was kind of side by side to the line between both of them. So yeah, really unfortunate for Jona Martins as well.
Yeah, it was a shame, but I think we all know the top 4 was in it for that win. Obviously, it ended heavily for Jona after that mistake he made down at turn 9. It ended heavily for Duncan and, well, ended their race, Duncan and Harvey, down at turn 3. And Max, he just fought through it all. He just made hardly any mistakes, and that just allowed him to carry it. And sometimes that shows consistency matters. He was down in 3rd. He would have been under pressure from the person in 4th. But because he knew how to play, he knew how to sit back, just not, send it stupidly from 3/10 back. He made it work. And yeah, taking no risks and being consistent gave Max a win, I think, at the end there. But it was a great race. It was a great way to end the social races here at PSGL. Obviously, we'll be back. I think it's next week or the week after for F2 through to F6, which has gone very quick. Obviously, Monday, I believe, is when we get the driver placements, which will be an exciting one to see who's wearing what tier. So that'll be F2 all the way through to whichever tier we have, probably something like 10, 11, maybe a bit more. And obviously that's the same for PS as well. But make sure to head yourself over to Lobby 2, with Chiz, who's on, second lobby, 8 PM lobby. Thanks, Owen, for joining me. It was a pretty hectic ending to the race and a pretty hectic qualifying, but I think that was quite enjoyable, wasn't it?
Yep, really, really was a great race. And yeah, once again, another great final social race here in PSG. Obviously, one more going on currently as we speak. But yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting now as the season gets underway next week, I believe.
Yep, I believe it is. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I believe it is next week. But yeah, it was a great one. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks everyone in the chat for being with us. Go to Lobby 2. That started about 15 minutes ago. I think we're at the crunch time of quali now in that lobby. So head over to there, say hello to Cheese, say hello to the chat, and of course support the drivers. We'll be back next week for the week after the actual season. So thank you all and see you later. Goodbye.
He's got the inside off, here he's through, on the left-hand side, hugs the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a